is you telling me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You were tuned in to episode 18, Throw the Hook Podcast, man. It's your boy G5 Jeff TV, aka G5, aka 5, aka the Guru. I know. It's a little bit of a later start. I ain't got the crew with me. Had some stuff going on today, but I had to jump on. Big shout out to everybody, man. Got to shout out the team, though. Big shout out to Boxing First Vlog. Big shout out to Legend. Big shout out to Shane. Big shout out to Teak. Coach Ali, Coach Padman McGriff, the whole crew. You know what I'm saying? Had to get in here today, man. Too much news going on, man. As y'all come in, if you in here, say what's up. Say what's up in the chat. Put a 1 in the chat. Let me know if I'm sounding good, if I'm sounding crispy, then we can go ahead and get started. But it's so much going on in the sport of boxing right now, man. But I'm gonna give y'all a couple minutes to come on in because this is an unexpected time for the Throw the Hook podcast, man. You know what I'm saying? But I felt like I had to get on here tonight and talk about the big news is out here, man. Big shout out to Jay Will, man. Jay Will was in here earlier. Big shout out to Jay Will. Say what up, fellas. Big shout out to Jay Will. You know what I'm saying? If you in here, like I said, if you in here, say what's up. You know, put a 1 in the chat. Let me know if we sounding good. You know what I'm saying? And we can pretty much go from there. But it's so much going on in the sport of boxing, man. Big news came out earlier today. Shakur Stevenson got stripped by the WBC, which is absolutely nasty work. And you know, it's crazy because I wasn't even gonna go on live today. But you know, after reading that, I was just like, the WBC is real. They playing dirty. They playing real nasty right now. But if you in here, man, say what's up. Let me know that you in here. Say something in the chat. Put a 1 in the chat if I'm sounding good, if I'm sounding crispy. Make sure the sound quality is good. You know what I'm saying? Big shout out to everybody, man. But we got to discuss this, yo. We definitely got to discuss this. The WBC has stripped Shakur Stevenson of his title, and it's such nasty work in so many different ways that this could have a lot of ramifications going forward in terms of other fighters and possibly fighters just not even fighting for the WBC belt because of what they're doing to other fighters. They're not consistent. They're not consistent in their rulings, their judgments. It seems like their rule book is written in pencil. You know, they go in a race and rewrite their own rules based off of, you know, how they feeling or who the fighter is, you know. But again, breaking news, the WBC has stripped Shakur Stevenson of his belt. Obviously, he has other belts, but this is a really deep topic. This is a really deep topic for the people that don't know the backstory to this and why this is so important. I'm definitely going to get into that today. Definitely going to get into it because this, like I said, this is going to play out for the next couple weeks, couple months, and you're going to see a lot of news drop. And, you know, with boxing, fighters are the ones that's supposed to be running the show. Fighters are the ones that's supposed to have the power because they're the ones that's actually in the ring, actually putting their bodies on the line, putting their life on the line. And you have situations like this where Shakur Stevenson gets stripped of his title his WBC title. First of all, the fight with Teofimo Lopez had absolutely nothing to do with the WBC. It had nothing to do with the WBC. They were not involved. Like, Teofimo Lopez belts was on the line. The Ring Magazine belt was on the line. It had nothing to do. It had nothing to do with the WBC. Big shout out to Brendan Smith in the building, man. He said Gerald Miller took the show for the next couple weeks. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. That toupee thing was nasty work, Brennan. That was some nasty, nasty work, bro. Like, he got hit with a 45 shot, and the toupee just went like this. It looked like a beak. It was like that. Like, it was crazy. Yeah, Gerald Big Baby Miller, man, like, he's traveling all around the country right now. He's doing interviews on all of the big platforms because he got his toupee jabbed off in a pay-per-view fight, which is absolutely crazy. Like, big shout out to Big Baby Miller for kind of just owning it. Like, you can't really do nothing but own it. I mean, if you take a two piece, a jab and a right hand, and your hair just go flying, man. Like, it's, like, that's something different. That's something completely different, man. Big shout out to Fredo for life, man. Big shout out to you, bro. He said, if they don't like sanctioning fees on belts signed with Zuffa, they have none on their belts. So, Fredo, here's the thing, Fredo. Like, the WBC is not consistent with how they enforce their laws, their rules, and that's the problem. It's not consistency within it. Technically, you're correct. I mean, if a fighter doesn't want to fight for if they don't want to pay sanctioning fees, then they shouldn't fight for a sanctioning body belt. But they charge sanctioning fees for title eliminators. They do sanctioning fees for if you're in the top 15. So it's not just the belt. They charge for a lot of different things and a lot of different reasons, bro. So the thing about this, Fredo, that makes it such nasty work is that the WBC had nothing to do with the Shakur Stevenson Teofimo Lopez fight. And Shakur Stevenson defended his belt, well, I want to say like 7-8 months ago. He just defended his belt. He just defended it. So it's crazy. Antonio Davis, big shout out to you. He said, hello, beautiful people. Hey, man, big shout out to you, man. Appreciate you on the show, man. Real quick, I'm gonna put if you're not subscribed to the channel, I definitely need for y'all to subscribe to the channel, man. There is a QR code in the top left corner of the screen. I need for y'all to click that. That goes right to the channel. I need for y'all to subscribe to the channel. Support your boy one good time, man. Hit the subscribe button. Also, while you at it, man, please subscribe to Boxing First Vlog and In This Corner podcast as well. But I'm gonna get that QR code up there for the next 10-15 minutes while we cook up, man. Definitely click that QR code that takes you right to my channel, my YouTube channel. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel while you up in here. But I want to go back to Fredo's comment. Fredo said if they don't like sanctioning fees on belt signed with Zuffa, they have none for their belt. Here's the thing. Like I said, you have to understand, bro, that the sanctioning bodies is just a part of the sport. You have to understand that there's more than one sanctioning body. There's more than just the WBC. And this is a WBC problem. If you notice, the WBO had no problem collecting a sanctioning fee. The WBA has no problem collecting a sanctioning fee. The IBF has no problem collecting their sanctioning fee. They have no issues collecting their sanctioning fees. It's just the WBC. And the thing is with the WBC, they're just at war with Terrence Crawford. Terrence Crawford was on every single camera during the Shakur Stevenson versus Teofimo Lopez buildup, the fight, the post-fight. He was all over the place. So when you see Terrence Crawford nowadays, one of the first things you think about outside of him being a great fighter and one of the GOATs is that he's the one that basically put two middle fingers up to the WBC and said, "Hey, I'm not paying these sanctioning fees that you're putting out there." And another thing I need to explain to you guys, right? Another thing I need for you guys to understand is that in the Terrence Crawford versus WBC situation, Terrence Crawford paid sanctioning fees for the other three sanctioning bodies. I need for y'all to understand that. He paid the WBA. He paid the WBO. He paid the IBF. He said that he didn't have a problem paying the sanctioning fee, but he set one amount for all four sanctioning bodies. But the WBC felt like they should get more than everybody else. That was the problem. And I think that's the thing that's kind of getting lost in this situation. That's the thing that's getting lost. People don't understand that Terrence Crawford paid sanctioning fees. He paid sanctioning fees. You know what I'm saying? So this is something that the WBC wanted outside of basically the normal agreement. And they did it 2 times with Bud. But to strip Shakur Stevenson and his belt wasn't even on the line, I am going to get into all of the BS that the WBC does for other fighters. But they stripped Shakur for nothing. There wasn't a sanctioning fee for him to pay because they had nothing to do with the Teofimo Lopez Shakur Stevenson fight. They had nothing to do with it. Absolutely nothing. Antonio Davis, he said, I hope Shakur Stevenson don't fight Conor Benn. Yo, Conor Benn's another person that was, you remember when Suge Knight was like, yo, like if you don't want your producer, you don't want your executive all in the videos. You know what I mean? Conor Benn was in every single photo, every single video. He was networking like crazy. I was mad Shakur Stevenson called Conor Benn into the ring for a couple of reasons. Number one, I don't think Conor Benn is a good fighter. I don't think he's a good fighter. He's an entertaining fighter, but I don't think he's a good fighter. I don't think he's an upper echelon fighter. He's been fighting above the 147 range for a minute. You understand what I'm saying? He's been fighting up there for a minute. The 2 fights with Conor Benn and all of that. And with Chris Eubank. And then Conor Benn is going back down in weight to 147. You got to understand, I didn't like Shakur calling him into the ring because Shakur said in the build-up to the Teofimo Lopez fight that if he doesn't get a big fight, he's going back down to 135. He said he's not even a 140-pounder. He's not even a 140. So just imagine if he goes up to 147 and fight Conor Benn. Now you're talking rehydration clauses and all that. And I hate that shit. Rehydration clauses and all that. I hate that. You know what I'm saying? If Shakur's a 135, it's plenty of fights at 35. If he want to dip his toes into 140, there's plenty of fights at 140. He got about 15 options he can take outside of Conor Benn. Basically, the only reason he would step in the ring Conor Benn is unless Turkey Al-Sheikh was like, hey, I'm going to give you about 20 mil for this. I'm going to give you about 20 M's for this. And he knows it's easy work. I don't want to see that fight. I don't want to see that fight. Be honest, I don't want to see Conor Benn on my boxing screen, unless it's the right matchup, for him. But I don't think he's a really good fighter. Shakur got better things to do with his time. Antonio Davis said he will get hurt. What the thing is, Antonio, I think he beats Conor Benn at any weight. It don't matter what it is. I think he beats him at any weight. I don't think it really matters. You know what I'm saying? I don't think it really matters, bro. Like, it's not even about that. It's just Shakur got better things to do with his time. There's a lot of people that feel like Shakur Stevenson is top 5 pound for pound. We just did a podcast. On the last podcast, Boxing First Vlog had him number 1 pound for pound on this list. You know what I'm saying? He's that good. I just feel like him fighting Conor Benn is a waste of time, bro. I don't think he would get hurt. I think he would pick Conor Benn apart at any weight. He can come in 30 pounds heavier than Shakur Stevenson. And I think Shakur was still giving the business. Fredo said, why did Shakur pay WBC fees when he beat Valdez? Bud has been undisputed with the WBC. It was never a problem paying fees until he became Mr. Moneybags. So let me explain that. So usually with the WBC, let me tackle the first part of your question. You said, why did Shakur pay WBC fees when he beat Valdez? At least with the Valdez situation, the WBC was involved in regards to that fight. And on top of that, with Valdez, Valdez popped. He popped dirty with their belt. And Valdez still ain't do nothing to Valdez. I'm gonna get to the WBC in a minute, how grimy they moving. They moving real grimy. They moving real grimy, bro. Bud Bud was trying to pay the sanctioning fee. They were trying to pay the sanctioning fee. The WBC set their own number. That's the thing that I need everybody to understand. Bud didn't come out and say, I'm going to pay the WBO, WBA, and IBF, but I'm not going to pay the WBC. He said, hey, this is a big amount of money we dealing with. All of the sanctioning bodies can eat. I want to pay X amount of dollars to all four of you guys. The WBA said, okay, Bud, we cool with that. IBF said, okay, Bud, we cool with that. The WBO said, okay, Bud, we cool with that. The WBC is the only ones that set their own number. They set their own number in terms of a sanctioning fee. They set their own number outside of the other sanctioning bodies. And Bud went against that. Bud ain't have a problem paying sanctioning fees. He's been paying sanctioning fees his whole career. So people lose sight of that. People lose sight of that. So it's not because he became Mr. Bunny Bags. It's the fact that the WBC set their number so high when he made that big time money. But if you notice, nobody ever said what he charged Canelo. What did he charge Canelo? Did Canelo pay it? We got to ask that too. We got to keep it, we got to keep it solid across the board. Fredo says Shakur is just following Bud lead. Let's be honest. The thing is, Fredo, the WBC wasn't involved in the Teofimo fight. He just defended that belt less than a year ago. He just defended the WBC belt for less than a year ago. You got to remember, Fredo, the WBC is the main ones that let Gary Russell keep his belt for like 10 years, and he never fought. You understand what I'm saying? Like, we've seen, like, the WBC, they, like the Dalton Smith fight and Subriel Matias. Subriel Matias popped dirty, and they still let him keep his belt. I can go on for days with the WBC. I can go on for days. Like, Fredo, they moving dirty, bro. They moving dirty. I can see if the WBC belt was involved in the Teofimo fight, and for some reason they wanted to strip, or they wanted to do a sanctioning fee or whatever. But they charged Shakur $100,000 for the Teofimo fight, and they weren't even involved. They wasn't even involved, bro. They moving nasty right now, bro. It's just the WBC. They at war with Bud, and Shakur and Bud are locked at the hip. This is a stray shot at, like, this is Shakur getting caught with a bullet because he's just in, Bud's area, if you know what I mean. You know what I'm saying? Fredo, for Ben to come down from 160 to 147 and a rehydration clause on him, that win won't get Shakur real credit. I don't think Shakur would get any credit for Conor Benn victory under any circumstance. Like, I just don't think Conor Benn is a good fighter. There's so many other options for Conor Benn. Conor Benn, you know what? I would do Conor Benn, Josh Kelly. I know Josh Kelly is obligated to fight Boots Ennis, but they could put on a huge fight in the UK. They can put on a huge fight in the UK. Conor Benn and Josh Kelly. He can do that. There's a bunch of people he can fight. That's within his weight class. He can fight at 54, he can fight at 60, but for him to go down from 160 to 147, that has never been a good look for any fighter that's basically going down 2 weight classes. You know what I'm saying? Fredo says Shakur #1 pound for pound is wild. Hey, man, Boxing First Vlog will be back on here, man. I don't know if you listened to the last show. Bro, but yeah, Vlog had him #1 pound for pound. Fredo, while you in here, man, give me your top 5 pound for pound. In the chat, give me your top 5 pound for pound, bro. Fredo said, as great as Shakur is, he doesn't get stoppages, and we are splitting hairs with guys like Bam,
in a way that matters for me. Listen, if you have Inoue and Bam ahead of Shakur, I ain't killing you for that, bro. I usually don't criticize people's pound for pound list. As long as you have a criteria for it and you have a thought process for it, then your list is your list. You know what I'm saying? Like your list is your list. Boxing First Vlog actually he did his top 10 pound for pound, and he had about a good 3, 4 names that I didn't agree with the order, and he had a couple of them on there I didn't think should be on there, and he didn't have Bam on his list. I thought Bam should have been on there, but that was just a discussion between me and my brother at the end of the day. But if you got a pound for pound list, bro, and you got a criteria behind it, man, like I pretty much will rationalize with anybody's pound for pound within reason. Um, Smooth said, "What up, Jeff? Long time no see. Got a link? Yeah, I got a link. If you wanna jump on, we could definitely do that. We could definitely do that. So, I'll definitely set that up for you. Put a one in put a one in the chat if you're trying to come on the show. Put a one in the chat if you're trying to come on the show. Um, Antonio Davis said Stevenson the best. I listen, man. Antonio Davis, man. Stevenson's a bad boy, bro. Stevenson is a bad boy. We ain't seen this in a little while. Stevenson is a bad boy. And another thing I want to get out there as far as Shakur Stevenson is concerned as a fighter, it's really only like one or two fights where like Shakur Stevenson was just moving too much. The one that everybody points out is the De Los Santos fight, which he moved entirely too much in the De Los Santos fight. But the thing that makes Shakur so great is that he's pretty much standing in front of you, or he's pivoting side to side and just making guys miss and making them pay. Like he's more flat footed than a lot of people think. He's more flat footed than a lot of people think. Like for sure. You know what I'm saying? Fredo said Shakur knows Keyshawn is a problem for him. That's why he buddy. Bro, that would be an awesome fight, bro. That would be an awesome fight. And I know they've been around each other for a long time. They consider themselves family and brothers and all of that, but in sports, we've seen plenty of people that are like brothers, you know what I mean? That are like brothers, just outside of the sport, but they get in between them lines in this war. So I think when that fight gets big enough from a financial standpoint, um, I think that I think they would make it happen. I think they would make it happen. If Turkey went to both of them and said, "Hey, listen, I got 30 M's for the both of y'all," I think they take it. I think they take it. I think they take it. I think the fight is not big enough for them to actually like, consider it. You know what I'm saying? I don't think the fight is big enough for them to consider it. But that would be a great matchup. A great matchup. Fredo says Shakur and Keyshawn shouldn't be allowed in the same division if they aren't going to fight. Klitschko's were real brothers and had no choice as both fought at heavyweight. So, Fredo, the thing with that is I don't mind Shakur Stevenson and Keyshawn being in the same division because technically they're both in transition when it comes down to division. So, Fredo, you got to think about it. So, you have Shakur Stevenson. He's on camera saying, "I'm a natural 135," right? I'm a natural 135. If I can't get a big fight, I'm going back down to 135. We only talking about Shakur at 40 and 47 because he's big game hunting right now. He's big name hunting. But he already said he's 135. We know Keyshawn is not 135. That's why he had the issues that he had with the Virginia fight, and he came in 4 pounds overweight. That's why we had that whole backdrop and side story going into the Jermaine Ortiz fight. Keyshawn Davis already said, like, "Hey, I'm fighting at 140 and up. I'm
names at 40 and 47, but he's planted his feet. He's going to plant his feet at 40 or 47. That's the difference. Shakur said he don't mind going back down to 35. So I don't think we have to worry about Keyshawn and Shakur being in the same division and their feet planted. I don't think Shakur is going to plant his feet at 40 and 47 unless it's a big name. Like Shakur is not going to fight like a Raymond Murataya. He's, even though that's a 35 fight, but Murataya is a big 35. He's not going to fight a Murataya. He's not going to fight like a Richardson Hitchens. He's not going to fight a Gary Antoine Russell. He's not going to fight them guys. Like Shakur is looking for Devin Haney. You know, he's looking for possibly a Rolly Romero. He's looking for guys like that where it's either a belt on the line or it's a big name and it's big money. So I don't think you got to worry about Shakur and Keyshawn playing around in the same division together. I don't think you got to worry about that, bro. Antonio Davis Stevenson could have hurt Teofimo. I think Stevenson could have stopped Teofimo. Real talk. Like I think if he mashed on the gas, I think he could have stopped Teofimo, like for sure. Because Teofimo, first of all, so y'all gonna have me cooking on the show, bro. Y'all gonna have me cooking. Like Teofimo's dad is terrible. He is terrible, absolutely terrible. Like he is terrible. Like his approach as a trainer for that fight was terrible. What he was saying to Teofimo was terrible. What he did with Teofimo after the fight, that was terrible. Not being shoulder to shoulder and arm to arm with your son in defeat is crazy. Nasty work. Nasty work. You know what I'm saying? But I think Shakur could have stopped Teofimo because Teofimo looked like he wanted out. He looked like he wanted out. I think, but see, that's the thing with Shakur. Shakur, you're never going to see Shakur really like mash on the gas. You know what I'm saying? Because he's a defense first fighter. I would have loved to have seen him mash the gas and get Teofimo up out of there. Rigid Vibrations, big shout out to you, family. He said if Kevin Gates and Biggie did a song, that would have been crazy. That came out of left field, but like Biggie wanted to, you know, Kevin Gates, you know, he's a big name as well, man. That would have been an interesting combo for sure. Hey, there's a QR code at the top of the screen, man. That goes right to my YouTube channel. Please subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to G5 Jeff TV, man. Throw the Hook podcast. We got one of the hottest podcasts out there. Even though I'm dolo tonight, I usually be with Boxing First Vlog. I'm usually with In This Corner podcast with my guy Legend. Usually with Shane and Teak and all of them, man. Like, but you know, we just solo tonight. Click that link at the top and subscribe to the channel. I need y'all to subscribe to the channel so whenever we go on live, man, it's a party for sure. Fredo said Keyshawn is Shakur's mandatory for his 140 belt. So here's the thing with that. Like if Shakur, all that would happen, bro, is Shakur would just drop the belt and go down to 135. It's not about the belts, bro. It's about the money. The money's not big enough for them to fight each other. Like I said, if they're talking 30, 40, 50 M's a piece, they're gonna go in the living room and be like, yo, bro, I know we brothers, but this is life-changing money. We're gonna go in there, do what we do, and we're gonna get this money. The money's just not big enough. Like nobody's talking money in regards to that fight. They're not gonna do it unless it's a huge amount of money. Luke West in the building, man. Big shout out to Luke West, man. Big shout out to you, bro. He said, what's good, y'all? What's up with you, Luke? You see, I'm dolo today, man. I had some stuff going on behind the scenes, man. I couldn't get the team on. Had to start a little bit late, but you know, I had to get on here and cook up, man, for sure. Fredo, he said you got to check out Wilder crashing out in his interview today with Simon Jordan. He got heated over Tyson Fury questions. Hey, Fredo, I did check that out, bro. I'm probably gonna do a separate video on that, but you got to remember that Deontay Wilder, there's a couple things with Wilder, right, Fredo? There's a couple things with Wilder. Number one, he's in full promo mode, you know what I'm saying? Because he's fighting Derek Chisora in April. So he's in promotion mode right now. Number two, you can tell that he's felt the effects of those Tyson Fury fights.
He's felt the effects of just being in wars as a heavyweight. You could tell he's going through some things physically. You understand what I'm saying? Like Wilder's not the same fighter. You're not going to have those classic battles with Tyson Fury. You're not going to have, like the Joseph Parker fight and, just other fights that he's had in his career. Those fights take a toll, from you, mentally, physically. It takes a toll from you. You know what I'm saying? So Wilder's in a different space right now. And then he's had other interviews where he's talked about personal stuff, family stuff. So Wilder, look, he might be a ticking time bomb, like for real. Like he might be a ticking time bomb, man. Like I wish him nothing but the best inside and outside the ring. But that's not going to be the last time you see Deontay Wilder like snap out, like for sure. Luke West, he said, and I agree. If he stepped on the gas, them last 4 rounds, either the ref, the corner, or the doc stops the fight. Luke, I think and I agree with that. I think it would have been the doc. I think the doc would have stopped the fight. I don't think the ref would have stopped it, and I damn sure know that TFMO dad wouldn't have stopped it because he's trash. Like he's cheeks, bro. He is cheeks. But the doctor with his eye leaking and all that, and Shakur, he'd have been targeting that eye, bro. Like that would have got nasty. Smooth Life, he said, link. Yes. I'm gonna drop that link. Give me like 2 minutes. I'm gonna drop that link, bro. I got you. Fredo said T.O. Senior was 2020 boxing trainer of the year. Pretty hard to believe. You know what, bro? Off the top of my head, I don't know if I knew that. And that was a COVID year too. I don't know if I want to count that. I don't know if I want to count that, bro. Like, I don't know. You sure, Fredo? You sure about that, bro? He was the trainer of the year in 2020. You sure about that? Matter of fact, you know what? That might have been was that around the time he beat Lomachenko? He might have been. I'll take your word for it, Fredo, for sure. Luke West said the fact Shakur didn't speak to his hey Luke, come back with that comment because it's not really complete. Discipline. All right, let me see. Rigid Vibration says, sorry, you got a like. I don't know if you're talking about liking the live. If you're talking about liking the live, like it. Everybody like the live too. You know what I'm saying? Big shout out to Rigid Vibrations. Luke West, he said, my bad, my Call of Duty game starting. I play for money, so wish me luck, big dub. Oh, for sure, man. You know what I'm saying? Salute to you with that. Do you stream as well? He said, I'll be back. Yeah, go get your bread, bro. Go get your bread. Let me go ahead and let me drop this link in the chat. You know what I'm saying? Drop this link in the chat for my dog, Smooth Life. He dropped this in here. Hey, when y'all click this link, man, I still gotta let y'all in the building, man. So put in the chat that you want to come on the show. You know what I'm saying? Before you click that link, man. You know what I'm saying? You come on here and chat with your boy G5 Jeff TV, man. Be on Throw the Hook podcast, man. But yeah, WBC, they doing some nasty work. They doing some nasty work. Mic check.
Yo, can you hear me?
You kind of look.
Yo, what's up, Jeff? Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hey, man, this is Lennar, bro.
Yeah, I know. What's up with you?
How you know it's me?
Huh?
How you know it's me?
I remember you, bro. Like as soon as your name came up.
Yeah, okay. Yeah,
it doesn't come. It's as soon as I seen the name, I knew who you was. But it don't say that it don't say that in the chat though. It just say Smooth Life. As soon as I seen your name on here, I knew who you was.
I put it right now. Yeah, I put it right now. Just put it in the chat box because you can enter somebody's stream and just put your name.
Yeah, what's up with you though?
Yeah, bro, man, I'm good, brother. How you been, man?
Everything cool. You still on the West Coast?
Yes, yeah, bro. And I want to say something real quick, bro. Man, I want to thank you, man, because I mean I know you still supporting your boy, man. I haven't been on your channel for years, man, but I see you still liking my Instagram posts and stuff, man. Still support me, man. So,
Hey, bro, listen, yo. First of all, real quick, bro, before we get into this boxing thing, for everybody to understand, like Lamar been around since like damn near the jump. Like he used to be on the shows going back and forth with Vlog and all them. You know what I'm saying? Years ago. And correct me if I'm wrong, you went out to the West Coast to get into the entertainment industry and all that and bust your moves out there, man. So I just respect what you do. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You family. It don't matter how, we can go 2-3 years without rapping, yo. I'm like, if you family, you family. It don't matter. You know what I'm saying? So big shout out to you for sure.
yeah, and that's why I'm like, bro, that's why I rock with you, because it's like you always give me a platform to speak my mind, and I appreciate that. So certain channels, always my channel, because you're not the only one, but certain channels like you're one of my channels that I've always have good graces with, and you're always a family to me, man. So I
For
appreciate
sure.
you to say that, man. So. But man, the reason why I was real quick, because I know this is about what the topic of your show, but real quick, the reason why I was gone for like 2 or 3 years, man, bro, because I was a Spence fan, bro. I still am a Spence fan, bro. But bro, when Spence got his ass whipped, bro, like Crawford, bro, I'm not gonna lie, on some real man to man stuff, bro. It took me out. It took me a minute to get back in boxing, bro. It took me
You
a
was
minute, bro.
depressed?
Bro, no, bro. I kid you not. For 3 days after that, 3 days, literally, my appetite was thrown off. I was kind of like in a little mini depression. I was like, bruh. But it taught me something, bro, because it's like, because you gotta understand, I got into boxing on 20. I'm still kind of in boxing terms, I'm still kind of new. I got into it around 20. I would say 2019. This is right when the beginning of 2019, maybe either 2017 or 2019. I think I can't remember. Anyway, so it was when I really got into it, because I was always watching boxing throughout, growing up off and on with Floyd, but I never really got into it. And Spence was like, so Mayweather was a guy who introduced me to boxing, like all throughout the years, going to fight parties and stuff. But Spence made me fall in love with boxing. So I had a lot of emotion into him, pause. But I had a lot of emotion behind him, And so when he got his butt whooped like that, took me a while to put a bad taste in my mouth, because I never felt like Crawford deserved that. Because Crawford's a hell of a fighter, but to me, when it comes to him as a boxer outside the ring, when it comes to not in his personal life, but as a boxer, his boxer personality, I think that he leaves a lot to be desired. And so I couldn't really represent. To me, I still don't like Crawford because he's very emotional, in my opinion, like that. But I still give him his credit though. When he retired, I gave him top 10 pound for pound all time. So I still give his credit, where it's due. I'm not a hater like that. I'll be honest. Well, yeah.
Hey, Lamar.
Yeah.
I remember the back and forths we used to have, not you and I, but just you being on the show, just with other people when it came down to Spence and Crawford. And it was like, oh shit, and like here come Lamar, it's about to be an argument with Spence and Crawford. We went through that for like a long time, but the thing is, bro, like usually when people get into boxing, it's usually a specific fight or a specific fighter that gets them in love with the sport. So your path of getting into boxing is no different than everybody else. You know what I'm saying? It's just that one fighter that you gravitated to, which was Errol Spence. And the thing with Errol Spence, the cook on that real quick, is Errol Spence didn't I think Errol Spence stayed at the weight too long. He stayed at the weight entirely too long. I felt like going into the fight with Crawford, I felt like he should have either had that fight at 54 or don't take the fight at all. But credit to Spence for taking the fight at 47. To be honest with you, Spence didn't even look right physically in that fight. And I'm not talking about physically like he wasn't in shape. Like his skin color was different. Like his demeanor looked different. Like he just didn't look like Spence. And I'm not taking away anything from the victory from Terrence Crawford, because it was a legendary win. But that's why Lamar, like when we talk on the podcast all the time, bro, and we be like, yo, like fighters, they drain their body down
to have a weight advantage on fight night. If you're not careful with making weight and making it the correct way, you can go into a fight as a zombie, as a complete zombie. You are not yourself. Physically, you look right. You might be moving okay, but you just don't look right at the end of the day. And that's what happened with Spence. So I don't think that A+ Spence didn't show up for Bud, but I don't think it was because of, I think it was partially because of Bud, but I, that was them years of making 47. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like when he fought Sean Porter, he probably should have been fighting at 54. When he fought Ugas, he should have been fighting at 54. I think he was at 47, maybe 4 or 5 fights too late. He should have went to 54 a lot earlier in his career.
And the thing about it too, real quick, is like not only that. I mean, this is a guy. I don't know if you guys. He had a little mini car wreck again before and it was off for a while. And that's why I think why people really rock with Spence, because he had a really endearing personality. I'll fight you. I don't care, win, lose, And he had the whole car situation going on, and that was kind of inspiring. He still wanted to fight good championship level opponents. And at the end of the day, it taught me a lesson. I said, because I do love the sport of boxing, but it taught me a lesson in the sense that like I'll never, like, I guess you could say, love a fighter so much that it clouds my judgment when it comes to the sport of boxing. Because I love the sport of boxing, and if you get too much for the fighter, and that's why I want to lead into this with Jerron, because I know you're from Philly, right, Jeff?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Jerron, even back then, you've been rocking with Jerron for a while. That's your boy, right?
Yes, sir.
Bruh, Jeff, let me tell you, bro. And see this, you said a cardinal sin earlier, man. I was like, what? Bruh, no, we want Josh Kelly, because I'm really starting to pick up on Jerron, because at least Jerron he lives a clean lifestyle, and I always supported Jerron. And he's one of my favorites in the sport right now. Bruh, we want Jerron for Josh Kelly. We don't want Conor Benn for Josh Kelly. We need and let me cook on this, because this is really important. If I'm Jerron Ennis, assuming we don't get the Virgil Ortiz fight next, it's not looking likely, I would be screaming from the rooftops to get that Josh Kelly fight. One, because it's very winnable. I mean, I really don't see Josh Kelly really offering too much resistance. Maybe he'll dance around and whatever, but he'll get walked down eventually. That's number one. Number two, it's a big fight in the UK. If I'm Jerron, because you got to understand something. I mean, it's from really passionate, really, I'm trying to help Jerron here. Look at his contemporaries, man. And Devin Haney is another one of my favorite fighters, but Devin Haney, Shakur Stevenson, Keyshawn Davis. Man, these guys are passing Jerron up, bro, in the sense that Jerron's not getting the fights he needs to, one, solidify his legacy, and two, make him a star in the sport. Tank, same thing. I don't want Jerron and all that talent he has not to be appreciated with his roses. I don't want him to be like an Andre Ward, still a pound for pound great and all-time great, but never want to, on that level, to be a name, a household name, and that's not fair. And that's kind of what happened with Terrence. And so the reason why I want him to get the Josh Kelly fight, because I want it'll cover all bases here for what he needs in his career. It'll be a big fight in the UK. It'll be a stadium fight.
Right.
The UK guys fighting from optics, it looks good for Jerron. Number two, it's very winnable. It's a belt, and it's a pretty solid name. You can't say, Josh Kelly is the boogeyman. So if I'm Jerron, I'm like, even if, to me, I would even take a slight B-side cut and bet on myself and say, you know what, 55-45, maybe even 60-40, I want to fight that much, because that's what he needs right now, because I don't want Jerron and all that talent he has to not be appreciated, like it wasn't quite appreciated with Crawford, etc. Go ahead.
Hey, bro. So Lenore, real quick, bro, just to make my comment clear, the only reason I've mentioned Conor Benn and Josh Kelly is because Josh Kelly made a comment about that earlier today. So that's the only reason I even mentioned that. But
what did he say?
He said that him and Conor Benn in the UK would be a huge fight, and he would beat Conor Benn. But here's the thing, though. That's the only reason I brought it up. But technically speaking, Josh Kelly has to fight Boots next. He's contractually obligated to fight Boots next. So here's what happened, Lenore, real quick. So
when Josh Kelly became mandatory for Bakram, Bakram took the fight in the UK with Josh Kelly because Bakram don't have a fan base. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't have a fan base. So that's where he was going to make the most money. And Bakram was being promoted as the boogeyman, so he don't care. He going to go anywhere on this planet and feel like he going to knock Josh Kelly out. So that's why he took the fight. So the thing is, Eddie Hearn was not the promoter for Josh Kelly prior to the Bakram fight. Eddie Hearn was not the promoter for Bakram for the Josh Kelly fight. Only thing that Josh Kelly did, I'm not Josh Kelly, I'm sorry, Eddie Hearn. The only thing Eddie Hearn did, he put up the money for the fight. So that means he had options on both guys. So he put up the money for the fight, and he basically had in the contract that whoever won the fight had to fight Boots next. Had to fight Boots next. So the reason why Eddie Hearn was so excited when Josh Kelly won is because Josh Kelly's from the UK and he knows Josh Kelly. So that's an easier fight for him to make versus if Bakram won, he don't really know Bakram or his team or anything like that. So that's probably a harder negotiation. So Kelly has to fight Boots. Forget what I'm saying about that comment earlier. He has to fight Boots. So Boots, if I'm Boots, I'm doing exactly like you said. I'm going overseas. They can pack out a stadium 45, 50, 55,000. You know what I'm saying? Boots is probably going to get at least 10 M's out of that. He's going to get at least 10. He's going to get at least 10 M's out of that. You know what I'm saying? And I like Josh Kelly as a fighter. I like Josh Kelly. Do I think he won against Bakram? No, I don't. I think I had it a draw. But he did a lot of moving.
It is what it is.
No, you're right. It is. Listen, all that counts is what the judges said. All that counts is what the judges said. If they said he won the fight,
and that was a perfect. And I didn't think he was going to win either, man. I was like, and it was the perfect thing. I said, oh, because I know Boots, because I know he's signed to fight Boots. I'm like, that's perfect. This is what Boots needs for our next step. Because again, you know, all these guys, Shakurs and the Devins, and you know, and I love Devins, but Shakurs and the Devins and all that, and even the Tanks, bro, they're becoming household names. And my boy Jerron, he has the talent to compete with them guys, but he's not. He doesn't have notoriety. And what I compare it to is this: I'm almost comparing it to like Muhammad Ali, right? There was other guys who were really talented, like close to Ali's level. Ken Norton. You know, he took him damn near, took everything he had to beat him. George Foreman, and so many other people who were so great, but of course they didn't get the shine that Ali did. You know what I'm saying? Right. And I don't want that to happen with my boy Jerron because I see the talent, I see the potential. So I'm like, bruh, like I said, I'll take that B-side for me. I'll even take it, like I said, take a side B-side. We're gonna have this in the UK because we know that's a stadium fight. And then you know what I'm saying? And he needs that. He's 28. You know, he's not getting any younger. And I know he has the skills. So, man. Oh, and one more thing, Jeff. The reason why Earl Spence has such a fervent fan base when he had a, you know, and this is the problem with boxing fans. They always change up. But anyways, when he was winning, he had such a fervent fan base. It was because he had the potential, because they had the Mayweather story. Then he had the big fights when he was young. He had the Mikey Garcia fight. He had the Kell Brook going overseas fight, taking it from a champion, selling out. All that helped him, so he got the right moves. And in boxing, when you move a fighter a certain way, right moves when they're young is critical. So to really build a really solid, and he had the big city with Texas. If Jerron plays his cards right and cause Eddie to make this fight, this could be like his Mikey Garcia fight. Why do you think that rose his star? And we all know race versus race sells in boxing. So you'll have the black fighter from the U.S. going over with the white fighter and Josh Kelly. That's going to help elevate it. This can be one of his. Remember when he beat Michael Garcia? It was like, and the way he did it, it was like, oh, is this the next Mayweather? It was literally like everybody in the boxing streets was like, oh, shit.
Yeah, so if I'm Jerron, it was a dominant win, for sure.
This could raise his star, man. And this would be just like a Michael Garcia moment where it just raises his star. So, yeah.
So with Boots, right? So, and I hear everything you saying with Boots because Boots he got superstar written all over him. So I definitely understand what you're saying. As far as how he's being moved, and I can speak on this because I'm in the city and I'm familiar with a lot of the behind the scenes stuff in regards to Boots and certain fighters that kind of ducked him. Like at the end of the day, Eddie Hearn, unfortunately, is either going to have to overpay for a big name to get in there with Boots, or they're going to have to take kind of like a 60-40 split, 65-35 split with a big name just to take him to the next level. But I know for a fact. So right now, Boots was a champion at 47. He unified at 47. He beat Stan Jonas. Stan Jonas was one of the best welterweights at that time. So he had a unification fight. So he was unified at 147. He was trying to go undisputed. Brian Norman Jr. ducked Boots. Like, let's make that 100% clear. I know that for a fact. He ducked Boots. They was trying to make that happen. He ducked Boots. I feel like Eddie, he's putting down the framework to move him in the right direction. The first thing you do with a guy like that is you get him some home games. So he's had about 3 fights in Philly. He sold them out. He sold out all 3 of his fights here in Philly. So that's the initial step that you have to do in order to build a superstar fighter. That's one of the key ways to do it. Put him in front of his home crowd, see if he can sell. So Boots can sell in his hometown. They did the same thing with Bud. They did the same thing with Spence. They put Spence in Texas, Spence is going to sell out. You put Bud in Omaha, he's going to sell out. That's the first indication of whether you possibly have a star or not.
And you know what's crazy, Jeff?
Mm-hmm.
Literally, I remember this like yesterday. Spence fought nobody in Ocampo and sold about 14,000 plus at the start, right? And remember
it was more than that. It was more than that.
So, and it's funny because Boots last fight about 14,000 plus, and he has a see the thing of, and this is about when it comes to making a star, right? There's a lot of things that can come to making a star in boxing. You know, with Terrence Crawford, he had all the skills to carry the sport, but he didn't quite have the fan base, or like he never was like his contemporaries, like Mayweather, like Tyson, like Ali, like Sugar Ray Leonard, and there's a lot that goes into that. You know, looks play a part as well. You know, the way you look, the way you speak, the way that place. You know, let's be real. You know what I'm saying? So, and I don't ever think that Crawford really, he never had that in that department when it came to like his talk game and all that type of stuff. So, but the thing about it is like with Boots is that he has a big city backing him, just like Spence had a big city backing him, perfect fan base. So again, with Jerron, if I'm Jerron, I'm like, this is the perfect next step for my career. And I will be knocking at it. You better not give that fight to Conor Ben. And see what's gonna be so funny about that, the UK fans are gonna be like, you're not gonna win this fight. Oh, you a bum, you don't fight. No, but you know how fervent they are. Just like the Mexican fans, Mikey Garcia versus. I'm telling you, I see this. You see the play. I'm trying to paint this Picasso right now, G5. Yeah. And nobody's talking about this. Nobody's saying. And my thing with Jerron right now, he's like, I'll fight. This is my problem with Jerron. He's too lackadaisical, man. Like, it's like, he's like, okay, I'll just fight whoever they put in front of me. Nah, like, say the motherfucker, say who, if I'm you, I'll be like screaming, all right, let's make it happen, Josh. Let's make it happen. Because I know what this could do for his career. And what he needs right now.
I think if I'm Boots, like, this is what I would do. First thing, Josh Kelly, get that business out the way. They could set that up for the summertime. They can set that up for like maybe May or June. Probably June. I would say like June, May or June. Go out to the UK, go take care of that Josh Kelly business. That'll get him an official belt at 154. Once he gets the belt at 154, then the Virgil Ortiz talk is over. Virgil Ortiz, no more ducking. Is either you gonna fight or you're not gonna fight. And Virgil Ortiz doesn't even have a legit belt at 154. So once Boots beats Josh Kelly, then Boots can actually ask for 60%. And Virgil Ortiz can get 40 if they want to play the numbers game.
But knowing Boots and them, I would say, hey, even if I got the belt, we can still do 50-50. Let's do it in Vegas. You get Virgil Ortiz in the back half of the year. You whip on Virgil because he's going to beat the brakes off Virgil Ortiz. He's going to beat the brakes off of Virgil Ortiz. So if he can get Josh Kelly win the belt, Virgil Ortiz towards the end of the year, stomp him out in like Vegas, and then possibly look at a situation where if they can talk Fundora fight, or take like a Jamel, even though Jamel's been on a hiatus, Jamel is still a big name. He's still a big name. If they can work something out where they can get Jamel after the Virgil Ortiz fight, if he can get them three fights back to back to back and win all three in impressive fashion, Jerron Boots Ennis is superstar status at that point. By the time 2027 hits, he will be superstar status if he can get them three names within the next 12 months.
Because here's the thing, man. Like I believe in him. I think he has the talent for it. And you know, I don't want him to become like a Bernard Hopkins to a Roy Jones Jr., right? Like, Bernard all time great. Yeah, I don't want that to happen. I don't want him to be the kind of like hardcores know who he is. He's boxing royalty, but I don't want that to happen. I want him to be recognized while he's in his prime, everybody celebrating him and all that, and while he's in boxing. I
Yeah.
don't want it to be like a Terrence Crawford to a Canelo. I don't want that. I want the best, who is actually the best in boxing, to be celebrated. Oh, possibly one of the best in boxing, if not the best, having his argument, to be celebrated as such. Like look at
No.
Canelo, bro. Canelo, I mean, he was a good. I put him all time great Hall of Famer, but he wasn't like the best when Terrence and Usyk and Noah was around. Like they were probably better than him. So they Crawford for sure. He proved it.
Mm-hmm.
But they moved him right.
Mm-hmm.
And I want Boots to be his time. He's 28 years old. He needs to start getting these next one, to get his legacy certified, pick up another belt, another division, and then as well as getting these fights that can start elevating his career. Because I will say this, I'm not mad if the Virgil Ortiz fight doesn't happen next, only because that should be for a belt, yo. These guys they risking too much right now, bro. For no belt,
Yeah.
I think that should be a championship. What you think?
Yeah, I think with Virgil Ortiz, like the worst thing that could have happened was the lawsuit. The lawsuit that he has against Oscar De La Hoya and Golden Boy Promotions. When it comes to boxing, yo, the last thing you want to do is a lawsuit, because what's going to happen is anything that got to go through the legal process is just going to take time. The only people that win in a situation like that is the lawyers that's getting paid. You know what I'm saying? So Virgil Ortiz, to be honest with you, I think Virgil Ortiz is going to be on the shelf for a while. I don't think he's going to fight for a minute. And the reason why I say that, bro, is because Virgil Ortiz contract is tied in with the zone. Golden Boy had a contract with the zone for the zone to showcase Golden Boy's fights. They lost that contract. The contract expired December 31st, 2025. You understand what I'm saying? So for the zone, you got to look at it from the zone's end. The zone, they were the ones that was behind Jerron Ennis going to California when Virgil Ortiz for Erickson Lubin and Boots got in the ring, and they was in each other's face and they was talking. Like, that was the promotion for the fight, because behind the scenes, the zone, Oscar De La Hoya, Eddie Hearn, all of them agreed to a 50-50 split, and whoever wins the fight gets 55%. So whoever the winner will get 55-45. They already agreed to that. And then that's when the Lubin fight happened. So everything was falling to plan. The issue was Oscar De La Hoya still didn't lock in the Golden Boy contract with the zone. The zone said, hey, we want Virgil Ortiz and Boots next. Oscar De La Hoya, he was trying to maneuver around that. He was trying to play hardball after they already agreed to the terms on the fight. Like, why do you think Boots flew out there to hop in the ring? It was all staged. Like, everybody knew what was going on, what was supposed to happen. Oscar doesn't want that fight to happen. Virgil Ortiz don't mind fighting Boots. Of course, Boots want the smoke. Oscar doesn't want the action. He doesn't want it.
Yeah, listen, I think both fighters, I think they'll fight each other. I think that's not the problem. I think, but the people around Virgil, whether it's an Oscar or whatever. Well,
Yeah.
I think I know the zone. Eddie Hearn wants it, but I know, Oscar, he just made a kerfuffle, man, and just kind of messed things up. And so, like I said, man, I saw the glory that Shakur's getting and stuff like that. And I'm like, damn, that could be Boots, man. I thought about it, I was like, man, that should be Boots, bro.
Yeah,
And let's be real. Like, I love my boy, but, you know, his resume can be a little bit better.
this
It's a
time
little
coming.
bit, yeah, and I'm like, I don't want that to happen to, because there's always
Yeah,
in boxing is eras where like they're potentially one of the best fighters, they don't get their just, they don't get recognized, they don't get their, you know what
hey,
I'm saying?
hey Lenard, you know the thing is crazy, bro. The good thing with Boots is he got a promoter behind him that don't mind throwing some money around. Eddie Hearn don't have no problem throwing some money around. He got a lot of money behind him. So push come to shove, if Eddie Hearn got to overpay to give Boots the opportunity to become great, like he will. And the thing is, I would say probably within Boots is a superstar within the next 2 years. He's a superstar within the next 2 years. His time coming. His time is coming for sure. His time's coming. Is this a lot of people ducking him right now? They're gonna have to overpay to get names in the ring. But Eddie's gonna overpay at some point. He's gonna overpay. Because skill for skill, Boots is top five. Skill for skill.
Hmm.
Forget the
And that's like
resume. Skill for skill.
segue. Yeah, I agree. And kind of segueing into Shakur's performance, man. I know you talked about it. I wasn't able to catch it last night.
Hey, Lenore, you still in there, bro?
Yeah, can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Yeah, no, I
Go
was
ahead.
just saying, skill for skill, man. I knew. Well, sorry, Shakur, man. I know you talked about it last. I was trying to catch it, but I mean, it was a beautiful Picasso that Shakur painted. I mean, when I saw him boxing Tio's head up like that, it was. I mean, I was like, now this is boxing. Like, I just felt that's like
Mm-hmm.
it was just like, man, it was beautiful, beautiful. It made me thought.
Mm-hmm.
It made me think to myself. I'm like, if you want to be a boxer, know how to box, watch that fight. That fight.
Yeah.
There's so many different little slight tricks and tips and things, adjustments. It was just beautiful to watch. I said, that's
Yeah.
what boxing is about, and it really made me proud. So I'm like, yeah, that was dope. But my favorite fighters in the sport right now is Devin, Jerron, Earl. Um, those are my favorites in the sport right now. So
Mm-hmm.
those are my guys.
Yeah. Yeah. Boxing in a good place right now, man. It's in a good place in terms of just talent. With Devin, Shakur, Keyshawn is a problem.
Yeah.
Shushu Carrington is a problem.
And that's
Uh,
what, but they don't mix it. These brothers don't mix it up. Shushu and
well,
Keyshawn and Shakur and Devin and Jawan. They don't. I've got. It's a problem. They don't mix it up because
the
they.
thing is, like, boxing is also going through kind of like a transition too, and I'm talking about behind the scenes. I'm talking about like promotional companies and networks and things like that. And Lenore, you've been listening to the show for a long time, so we take things a little deeper than what people usually do. So right now the landscape is a little different. So back when we was cooking up back in the day, it was basically Golden Boy, Top Rank, PBC, and you had HBO, Showtime, you had ESPN, you had those
The zone was just yeah, the zone was just getting their foot in the door, setting their foot in the door.
correct. Correct. So now you have the landscape's different. Golden Boy's still out there, but they don't have a network. Top Rank is out there, but they don't have a network. PBC is out there. The only thing they have is Amazon, but Amazon's not invested in boxing. So technically, PBC don't have a network. The only people that's really invested in boxing right now is the Zone, and now you got with Zuffa, you got Paramount that's getting involved, and they're invested just in combat sports. It's not necessarily just boxing. They're in the bare knuckle boxing. They're in the MMA, like all of that. So now you got Dana White that's a player in the situation now, and then Eddie Hearn just signed an 8-fight. Matchroom just signed an 8-fight deal with Fox Sports out there in Australia. So the networks look a little different. which makes the boxing landscape different. So I said all that to say this. It's gonna make it a little bit more difficult to get some of the fights that we want. Luckily, right now we got Turkey Al Sheik and we got the Zone that's just footing a lot of the bill for a lot of these good cards and a lot of these good fights. But we need more networks to actually invest in boxing so we can get more of the fights that we want. We can't just have one or two people investing in boxing and that's it, because eventually it's not going to be enough money to go around. You understand what I'm saying?
The problem with boxing is that it's everything is fragmented. There is no, and this is the problem. This is why boxing. It was so funny. Is like boxing has the potential to be the first or second biggest sport in the world if you think about from viewership perspective. Muhammad Ali was pulling over 1 billion to 2 billion people during some of his fights in the 70s. That's literally FIFA World Cup level. Damn near.
Bro, listen, Shakur and Tiafimo, like the attention that got was insane, bro. Insane.
Yeah. And
when you really think about it.
But the problem with boxing is so there is no uniform here because you got different networks and they want to protect their fighters and they want to get certain fights in house. Then they'll do cross promotion, and then you got the belt, all the belt. So what happens is because it's so fragmented, unless a government steps in to literally, they would have to either break apart or join the belt, all the belts, and they would have to make it one like an NFL or NBA, right? Everything's under one roof, but everything's so fragmented that it's like it's hard, and got all these managers, and it just moving straight. So it's a kerfuffle. So
yeah.
And that's why boxing is like it's hard to really get a foot because it's like if I'm running boxing, this is what I would do. I actually do like the fact that there is multiple belts. It gives multiple people a chance to become a champion. I think that's important for fighters. So I'm not against that. Maybe we can lose one belt. Maybe 4 belts is a lot. Maybe it can be 3 belts. But whatever. Do that, and I would have it under one roof. And that's it. But I see the problem with Zuffa, and this is why Zuffa, man, like they're trying to do that, but I just don't like the contracts that I'm hearing about Zuffa and the way they're going to pay their fighters, man. That's some. I've heard they're going to be taking the fighter's the one who's risking his health, and the fighter's the one who's bringing in most of the eyes. So it should be a 55-45 split towards the fighter, regardless, because they're the one putting it on. And another thing I'm hearing about Zuffa is they're not doing they're not doing time contracts. They're doing contracts per fight. Basically, and that's worse because it's like if I'm gone in 2 years, I'm gone in 2 years. But if it's like, okay, you must give me 4 fights, you know what I'm saying? And then that's horrible because the last fight is like, you better sign with us and we're gonna give you. So it's ridiculous.
Hey Lenar, so I'm a leave off with this because we're gonna end this joint. Hit me on the gram tomorrow. I know somebody personally that signed with Zuffa, and I'm gonna have to holler at you on the phone about that. But
okay, you can. Is it a good thing or a bad thing or some shit I need to know about Zuffa?
It ain't good. It's not good. It's
you
not
see how
good.
Dana White treats his fighters, and those guys pay peanuts.
Bro, I think I gave you my number before, but message me on the gram when we get up out of here. I promise you, I'm gonna call you tomorrow. I'm gonna tell you about what I know, and you're gonna be like, damn.
And don't get me wrong, some of these fighters can get a little overpaid, and that makes them complacent. But goddamn, they do deserve most of the pot.
Bro, here's the thing though. Bro. I don't mind Zuffa. Like I don't mind Zuffa. And I'm like, whatever their pay scale is, you don't know the fighter situation either. So I'm like, if they sign, they sign. I'm like, as long as you're moving within the Ali Act and you're putting out fair compensation, or what the fighter feel like it's fair compensation,
exactly,
then I'm cool with it. But we're gonna talk tomorrow.
Oh, and
You
let me
just
say
had to
one
let
more
me know
thing.
when you're free. Yeah, go
Yeah,
ahead.
let me say this one more thing about it, bro. What was I gonna say? I lost. It was really important. Um. Oh, and this is see, this might be my personal opinion. You may not agree with this, but man, like boxing is fun to talk about because nowadays because it's like there is ducking, there is drama, right? That's part of the soap opera. That's why we go back and forth. Zuffa and Dana White, this one throw these motherfuckers in there like to make a star. You have to have some marination. You can't just throw like for example, Xander Zayas, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's young, unified,
Mm-hmm.
but I wouldn't quite make. I mean, if I'm like Boots or Virgil, I'm like if I'm their promotional company, I would definitely want to make it and make my star a star. But just
Mm-hmm.
saying in general here, if I'm top rank, right, I would let him develop a couple more years and get some good fights out of it, maybe develop, and then there would be mega fights down the line with Jerron and Virgil and shit like that, right? There
Mm-hmm.
has to be some level of marination. Now I agree. Today maybe it's a little bit too much, but there needs to be met in the middle here. We just can't throw these guys to the wolves, these young fighters, because what could happen is you could lose a superstar or a star because you throw them in there too early, and then
I agree.
you know what I'm saying? And if
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna throw him in there, you literally you'll lose money in the long run. You'll lose it. If you would have thrown Floyd Mayweather Jr. against Shane Mosley around 2000, when he won that fight, 'cause I think that's when he was calling for it. I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it takes a little bit of maturation. You can't just throw it. These guys just throw them and just say whatever the best fighter best immediately. There is some type of marination because again, from a financial perspective, down the line you actually make more money because you're making it. You have a star, and one or two fights and then fight here, and then you make the mega fight.
Right.
Like for example, Spence and Crawford, maybe that was too long. I should have happened earlier. Fine. But for example, but if you were to make Virgil Ortiz and Jerron right now without a championship belt on the line, you're gonna lose money. You know what I'm saying? So there's a middle ground that needs to be met. And from what I'm hearing is these guys are just being cut. They just want to throw these motherfuckers to the wolves. These young fighters just to the wolves. I'm like, nah,
Uh,
you can't do that.
yeah, and that's the part that needs to be played out, as far as matchmaking and, the promoters, the promotional companies, the network. So like you take like a Xander Zayas. Xander Zayas is a unified champion at 154 pounds, but he has absolutely no power because he don't have no network behind him. He has top rank, but top rank don't have a home for him. They had to put his unification fight on ESPN Classic. They literally had to send out a post on social media on how to watch the fight. Like that's bad. So he, even though he's a unified champion, to be honest with you, Josh Kelly has more pull than Xander Zayas because he has a network and he has money behind him. Boots has more pull than Xander Zayas because he has money behind him and a promoter and a
Hmm.
network.
And
So
he's a good example. Xander Zayas is right now holding it down for Puerto Rico. To me, I could see him being pound for pound one day, top 10 pound for pound. He can carry he can carry his own air in the sense that for his own country in his own
yeah,
region. He could be a Miguel Cotto. He could be, you know what I'm saying? But if you're
yeah,
gonna throw these guys in there so soon like that, you're gonna lose in the long run because you just made it too soon and he's getting knocked out. He's losing confidence. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm
yeah, yeah.
saying? His
No, I feel.
projection goes down, and
Mhm.
so that's what I'm trying to say with like, and that's why you don't see a lot of undefeated champions in MMA. It's mainly because there's just so many ways to take an opponent out in MMA that it's not just more. But another thing
Right.
is these guys just throw these guys to the wolves, man, and it's like, oh my gosh, it's like no, like let the fan bases rock with it. You're gonna like, you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
that's all.
No, I feel you.
It's a middle ground here.
Yeah.
Some fights do get past their expiration date, like Pacquiao and Floyd or Terrence and Earl. But
Hmm.
then a lot of fights can come just on time, like kind of with Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury. And they have classics. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? So it's a middle ground. That's all I'm trying to say.
No, I feel you, bro. I feel you, man. I
But I
appreciate you
definitely
jumping
hit you.
on, bro.
I hit you, Jeff.
Yeah, yeah. Hit my IG. I'll shoot you the number and all that. I'll give you my 2 to 3 Zuffa boxing stories that I know about, and we can have a good laugh about that. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate you jumping on, bro. I'ma hit my joint. We'll wrap tomorrow, like for sure.
All right, bro.
All
Sorry,
right.
let me see. Get your Instagram. Was it G5 Jeff, right?
Yeah, Jeff TV. Yeah.
G5 Jeff. Yeah, okay. Well, I gotta find it, bro, because it's been a minute. Got you, bro. All right, man.
Got it?
All right, man. I hit you.
All right, bro. Get with me. All right, bro. Yeah, that was my dog Lennar, man. He go back from, oh my God. Um, he used to be on when we was doing the Goodfellas podcast back in the day. We used to be on for 2-3 hours a stream, like 4 or 5 days a week. Big shout out to Lennar, man. Big shout out to him, man. But we're gonna close this joint out, man. This was episode 18 of Throw the Hook podcast. WBC strips Shakur Stevenson, man. Like nasty work by the WBC. I'm gonna be dropping videos on this topic, and so there's so many other things going on in the sport of boxing that I'm gonna be dropping a lot of regular videos, a lot of shorts. I'm gonna do some clips from this show as well. So the channel is gonna be active. So definitely subscribe to the channel. It's G5 Jeff TV. Also, subscribe to my dog Boxing First Vlog. Subscribe to my dog In This Corner podcast. Big shout out to Legend. We got a lot of good stuff going on, man. But yeah, WBC is real nasty for this situation. Real nasty for this situation. Because they didn't strip Janabek immediately when he popped dirty. Subriel Matias, they didn't strip him when he popped dirty, and they still allowed him to fight. But Shakur defends his belt for the WBC, but because there was an issue with a sanctioning fee for a fight that the WBC wasn't even involved in, they stripped Shakur. Or because Shakur is cool with Bud Crawford, and Bud Crawford didn't want to pay the extra fees. You know what I'm saying? Like it's crazy. Like it's absolutely crazy, and it's bad business. It's terrible business. But I'm gonna get up out of here, man. This is episode 18 of Throw the Hook podcast, man. It's your boy G5 Jeff TV. We will be back. I'm gonna do another show probably Friday, and I'll probably do another one on Sunday, man. But follow me on social media. Everything G5 Jeff TV. Everything is G5 Jeff TV, social media, all that. So make sure you follow me all over the place. And we'll be back on this weekend. It's your boy 5. I'm out.